The mama, is she going in the bath again? There's the mama. There. There's the mama. Little daddy. Should we dance with little daddy? Because sometimes this is little daddy, isn't it? And he does kisses. And mummy.
Thea Lipa is 19 months old and has spent most of her life without a dad.
He jumps. Oh, welly. Little daddy jumps in and out. Daddy jumps. Daddy jumps. He likes jumping.
All she really has is other people's memories of her dad, Matt.
That picture of daddy, that was when daddy and mummy got married. This is Matt here, and this is my favourite photo because this is taken about 2 weeks after Thea was born. And Matt was just so proud. He was so proud of having his little family unit. Mama, are you going to come up too? Because we're looking at photos, aren't we? Who's that? Dada. That's right. It is.
After Matt's death 10 months ago, Thea and her mum can't afford to live in their family home.
Granny is making little cakes for us. I know.
They're currently staying with Matt's parents, which definitely has its benefits. But this family's grief is still raw, and the smallest things can trigger it.
And all of those BLTs. The cost of BLTs. We had lots of BLTs. Give Granny a hug. Look, Granny's leaking. Granny a hug. Granny's leaking. Granny's leaking. Isn't she? Granny's sad because she misses Daddy.
That's right.
Yeah.
Losing a parent means children can suddenly find themselves in a very grown-up world, particularly now. It used to be that if you were a parent and your husband or wife died, the government would give you £2,000 and a monthly benefit which would help with things like childcare and could last for up to 20 years. But after April the 6th, 2017, everything changed. Now a parent whose husband or wife dies will receive a slightly bigger one-off payment, but crucially, the monthly benefit will last for 18 months instead of up to 20 years. The government claimed the old system acted like a trap, which prevented bereaved parents adjusting to single life, particularly women, who are now more likely to work.
That's why we're trying to modernise this support to a simple, uniform and easy to understand benefit that reflects better society.
I think we should support families who are in grief. I don't think we should ask them to take on poverty and possible debt on top of dealing with grief.
With cash payments being limited to 18 months, grief has in effect been given a sell-by date. If only, Mr Chair, if only grief was like that.
Hi, good morning. It's Tuesday, it's 9 o'clock. I'm Victoria Derbyshire.
A dying man we named Alan worked out his family were going to lose £50,000 under the new system. He believed that was money they deserved because of his national insurance contributions.
You're contemplating death and you want to go out of this world with some dignity, with some grace, with some peace of mind, not full of financial anxiety, feeling as if the government has just taken money away from you that you'd earned legitimately.
The majority of MPs voted in favour of the bereavement support payment. 3 weeks after it was brought in, Alan died. His family have now told us
Alan's last fight as he lay dying was to try and overturn these drastic cuts that are causing such distress to many people at a time when they are most in need. It literally took every last ounce of Alan's strength to bring this issue to public awareness, having been ignored by MPs and the government. It's not clear whether anyone is listening, even now.
there was a lot of anger when the bereavement benefit cuts were brought in. They were called cruel and wrong. But now, nearly a year on, how are they really affecting recently widowed parents? And of course, their children. A Freedom of Information request by the Victoria Derbyshire programme has found 3,500 people with children have qualified for the new bereavement support payment after the death of their husband, wife or civil partner. In some cases, families are missing out on up to £100,000 over time compared to the previous system. The Life Matters Task Force is a group of charities and experts who are angered by last year's changes and have been working together to help those affected. The task force have told this programme bereaved families are now experiencing additional suffering on top of an already distressing situation, and that they're seriously concerned about what will happen when the payments stop in 6 months' time. In the shadow of Mount Snowdon is Bangor. It's home to Becky Williams and her 2 boys. 3 people live in this house, but everywhere you look, there are the reminders of a 4th. Husband and dad Yvonne.
We were together for 10 years, 10 very happy years. We were best friends. Yvonne was a person who was full of fun, a larger-than-life character, I'd say, and was a friend to everybody.
Even a cancer diagnosis couldn't stop Yvonne. In 3 years, he raised £150,000 to help other people living with the disease.
We had factored in that there would be a widow's allowance of £400 a month, and that was reassuring because it meant that I would be able to work part-time. And then a few weeks later, I just happened to be looking through Twitter on a coffee break, and I saw a tweet by Rio Ferdinand, and he was slamming the cuts to the benefits. And yeah, fear. I went cold. I realised that was going to affect me, that Yvonne was going to die, and that I wouldn't be in receipt of the money that we'd sat down and planned for. We lived with a lot of stress, and knowing that he was terminally ill, and that one day, you know, he wasn't going to recover. And when that day came, that was still, although you know, you never prepare yourself for it. We knew it was the last few days, just said goodbye, and we're able to just I guess there wasn't anything we needed to say, but just try and accept it together. And it's really difficult to think about now. Yeah. And I guess you feel it's happening to somebody else. It's never happening to you. And just seeing the children was really difficult.
Yvonne died last May. He was 46.
Yvonne loved picking the boys up, and we did most things together. He was a great father, and yeah, he loved being part of the community in school. But yeah, that's one time I think is difficult, is kind of when all the other couples are around and I'm on my own, and you know, parents' evening, that kind of thing. Things where I know he'd be very proud. So it's not necessarily I feel it for me, I feel it for him. You know, he's missing out on so much. That's tough.
Becky's heart may be broken, but it doesn't stop chores needing to be done or bills needing to be paid. And all the while, the clock is ticking on when the family's bereavement support payment will run out. Under the old system, it could have lasted for at least another decade, as long as Becky didn't remarry. Now, it'll only last for 6 more months.
If there's a wave of grief, I can feel, you know, extremely low. Financial worries are dreadful on top of all that. I received the £3,500 payment at the beginning, and that helped to pay for the funeral. It's the bereaved children who are going to suffer. Why are we punishing children more? Why are we making things more difficult for them?
Becky has an idea what her 2 boys are going through. Her own father died from cancer when she was 14.
The interesting thing is, obviously, my mum did receive the widow's benefit, and that enabled her to be around for us. And I, looking back now as an adult, see the huge benefit in that. She was upset that I wouldn't be receiving it. I'm a nurse. I want to work. It's important for me to do that. What the benefit does do is support me to work less hours, so I can get that balance as a single parent now, to be around for the children.
There may be some people who are watching who are in the same position as you, but they're not married, and because of that, they don't receive the same financial support that you do. They might actually be envious of you. How does that make you feel?
Oh, that's a difficult feeling. They should have looked at offering this to unmarried bereaved parents. That's modern society, isn't it? So on one hand, you're saying you're modernising things, but yet you're not including the more modern family. This benefit isn't anything any of us want. None of us want to be in this situation. I'd rather my husband than £350 a month. But I am in this situation, and so I have to be mum and dad to my boys. I have to make sure that they're emotionally secure and safe. And that small amount of money goes a long way to help me to provide that for my children.
The government predicted in the long term this change to the bereavement benefit would end up saving them £100 million a year. Over the past 12 months, the Department for Work and Pensions has repeatedly refused our programme an interview on this issue. Instead, they've given us a statement.
The new bereavement support payment restores fairness to the system and focuses support during the 18-month period after a loved one dies, when someone may need it most. It is also easier to claim, tax-free, and does not affect entitlement to other benefits, helping those on the lowest incomes the most.
So Chloe, this bedroom is now your home, yours and Thea's home.
Yes, yes. This is all my worldly goods in here. Everything I've taken from the house. The most important things to me, which are my collection of paintings, my desk, so I can do a little bit of work while Thea naps, and my books.
And then there's a picture of Matt as well.
And obviously Matt, yeah.
Matt Leaper died from bone cancer, aged 39 last May.
The impact it's kind of unfathomable. My brain almost doesn't let me think about it. I don't get that much chance, but it was a true partnership. I've gone from being a wife to a wonderful husband and true partner, to being a mother, living with my in-laws, who luckily are wonderful and I get on really well with. Yeah. You want to get up now? Are you awake? Have you had a nice nap? Was that good? Want to come up then? There we go. The moment that I found out about the new system was when the bereavement support officer sat down with me and said to me, I almost don't want to tell you what you would have been supported with for Thea before. So, yeah, sat down and she said, yes, it's 18 months instead of 18 years. And it was like, well, you know, it seemed crazy that the legislation could be so different. I was so pleased Matt didn't know.
You're one of the first people who've used this new bereavement system.
Yeah.
If I was someone from the government, what would you say to me now about how you think it's working?
I would say, please extend it to support my child until she's 18. Like, a child is not going to get over the loss of their parent in 18 months. It's ridiculous. They can't then have their other parent go off and not be there for them too, because no one's got a nice, comfortable job where they, you know, go off to work at 10 and come back at 3 in time to pick up the children. There's all of this extra childcare involved in it. For me, it feels like a very cynical government decision, because of course the people that it affects are the people that are in the least position to do anything about it, because we've all just lost our partners. That's a nice cuddle.